It's Ron Carter.
Hey, hi, Steve. Good afternoon. How are you? Hope everyone is fine. My name is Ron Carter. I am the managing director for the Carter Agency. We are an agency here in sunny Southern California. And it's nice to see a lot of smiling faces today. That's a beautiful thing.
All right, Ron, good seeing you as always. Thanks for joining us. Cheryl Jeffries.
And knocked off the laptop. I'm Cheryl Jeffries. I'm a media relations person at heart. Currently, I have become a producer at WHRO Public Media in Hampton Roads, working on a variety of educational projects. Freelancing, I've done PR, still doing PR with AARP. I'm on the executive board for our Hampton Roads media division, and I also do the social media and content for the website, for all the social sites.
Yay for ARP, yay.
Okay, Cheryl, thank you so much for joining us. Great to have you. Welcome. Tripenia Bailey, you're next. I think you unmute yourself, Tripenia, but we can't hear you. All right, I think we'll try to come back to Tripenia a little later. That's all the people that I see. Anybody on here that I did not call? Raise your hand. Okay, I think we got everybody.
Well, thank you so much, sir. Let's get us started today. The first thing we want to do is that we ask some of our colleagues to come on board, because it's not every day that you get a standing ovation. Usually it's just in the work we do and in the walk that we work by faith. And so we wanted to recognize and ask and get a speech from our winners. And what you got, Tony?
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. We forgot one person, that's Maria Roberts. So Maria, come on and introduce yourself. Sorry about that.
I think she went though, but go ahead, Maria. She did go.
Maria Morales.
Hey, Maria.
Yes, Maria Morales.
Yes, the M1s and the M1 and M2 of BABJ. I am M2. I'm Maria Morales. Hi, everybody. It is Sunday, so I have crashed and I have been working a lot. So yes, I'm sorry I was late to the party, but I was reminiscing this afternoon in preparation for this, thinking about this when we first started this and how important these happy hours were to us at the beginning of the pandemic, when all we could see was each other, and how we kept each other going, checking in on each other, making sure that we were okay emotionally, physically, all of that. So I just want to give everybody a shout out. I am in Baltimore. I am originally from Pittsburgh, lived almost 20 years in Southern California. I'm currently the vice president of the Baltimore Association of Black Journalists. I'm a member of the media related task force for NABJ, and I am a Finch Stratler. I'm a journalist by training, but I also do PR. I have my own company, Rakana Public Relations, but currently, and most recently, I got hired as the Harford County editor for the Baltimore Sun. So I am spending time doing that. Harford County and Northern Baltimore County. It has been a long time coming. I have been out of the industry and freelancing and trying to work my way back and working other jobs and trying to build a business and all of that. And I'm so excited that Sister Cheryl is on here. I have been following her for a minute. She went from Facebook famous to famous. And I'm just so excited that how has really encouraged those of us who are interested in being our own bosses and our own professionals and how to build our brands. She really has provided the model of how to do it. And it's been amazing to see her on the glow up. So hi, everybody.
All right. Thank you, Maria Morales, M2, for joining us. And we got one other person. Can't forget about April Turner. She just joined us. So April, introduce yourself. Go ahead.
Hi there, everybody. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm traveling and have some travel delays. I'm April Turner, and I'm just happy to be here. Good to see y'all's faces.
All right. Thank you, April. Thank you, everyone. Terry, up to you now.
Good. It's great. Now, I love the fact that we are just confirmations for ourselves and also a part of our own soul connections. And I really appreciate this and you guys coming aboard. Let me give you all a shout out and gratitude for the internal support and the work we've done with each other to make people go on. So I'm going to start off with our good news first. And I'm glad that all three of them are here because I wanted to talk about them personally. First of all, I'd like to recognize I'll show up at anything as long as you ask me. And if I can give a scholarship to a student person, I'd like to give a shout out to Tanisha Taylor and her award for the Community Service Award for NABJ. Tanisha is the president of Perfect Pitch Media. She's an executive producer for CNN Forma. And half the people I needed to contact with, I just picked up the phone and called Tanisha, especially when I disagree with half of her anchors. We won't talk about that, Tanisha. And Tanisha is the daughter of a gun violence victim. And she launched the Ezekiel Taylor Scholarship Foundation in honor of her slain father. And we've done some work together on that one. So let's give a shout out and hear from Tanisha Taylor and about her award and anything else you want to say in the next 2 minutes, Tanisha. And Tanisha, welcome. Your turn.
Thank you.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you so much, Terry. I'm always humbled by you and grateful for your friendship and support and mentorship over the years. You guys know I grew up in NABJ, back in 1996, as I call them, the NABJ babies, with the first internships and just worked my way through. And then, after spending about 13 years as an executive producer at CNN, I kept getting the tug at my heart, to whom much is given, much is required, to whom much is given, much is required. And I kept covering the stories at home in my hometown of Chicago. And that is where my father, unfortunately, was killed. And his assailants were just ages 15, 19, and 21. And he was coming home from church one night and left my mother a widow at the age of 31. And I was about 5 or 6 at the time. And so leaving CNN, got with the family, and we decided to launch the Ezekiel Taylor Scholarship Foundation. So I ask you, please follow us on Instagram. It's important to get those numbers up on Instagram and Twitter. I'll drop that in the chat, Easy Taylor FDN. We just did a great interview on WGN television last Saturday with some of our scholars. We have scholars all over the country, young Black men who've also been impacted by gun violence. They too have lost mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers. They can take the money and go wherever they'd like to go, but they do originate from the city of Chicago. And I was just honored this past December with the Angelo B. Henderson Award, the Community Service Award from NABJ. So I am thrilled. I'm connected with Angelo's widow, Felicia. And it's just so good to know that, all of us have a part to play. Angelo was in Detroit, in the community, trying to pay it forward and help young people. I'm in the community in Chicago trying to pay it forward and help young people, whether I'm in Chicago or Atlanta, we're doing it. We've given more than $100,000 in scholarships in the past 5 years, all grassroots level. And so I hope my father is proud. I hope he feels like his legacy is moving. And I hope that we are doing the work that we need to do in the community to really help these young people to understand that education is the key and not gun violence. And my prayer is that I wish that someone had poured into those 3 young men who took my father's life, how my life would be different, even as a 45-year-old woman today, you think through what if I had him for the father-daughter dance or my wedding, all of the things that you think about. My son could know his grandfather. And so if we just can pour into other people's children, we're supposed to pour into our own, right? I get that. But when you try to help other people, I do believe that our blessings overflow, tenfold. And I don't know anyone who's ever gone broke by giving. and by sharing and by giving and doing. So I ask that you support the foundation, even if not financially, just, just follow us and just let me know if you want our newsletters. We send out a monthly newsletter about all of the scholars, and they're doing phenomenal work. And you see and hear our scholars talk, you're blown away. Like, why is the media covering this? So thank you so much, Terry. Thank you, NABJ and the task force. I love you guys, and I appreciate your support.
You too. Let me say this other person here who just won the Pat Tobin Award. There are several of us who are Tobin, warriors of Pat Tobin. We all work with her, and her famous way she connected people. She said, come here, I want you to walk over across the room. I want to introduce you to this person, that person. And then she would tell us what we needed to do with each other. And because of that, we created that Pat Tobin Media Professional Award. And I'm just happy because I've worked with this person for so many years, and I served under her when she was representative of the task force and NABJ and Beepers, everything. April Turner is the principal of Turner Communications, but she has a whole lot of other jobs, being VP of other things. But she also has an educator and has taught so much. And she serves on the board of the Maynard Institute of Journalism and Education. And one of the things I like about her is that she knows how to close a deal. I want to still give you a formal shout out, April, when we were working on the Google Pro sponsorship for NABJ, and she and I were able to talk and negotiate with the Google team to generate a $100,000 check. So I appreciate you so much, April. You just don't know. And April is memberships also include not just NABJ and Beepers, but also the National Communications Association, Colorcom. And she also served in the same board role as I did and as Don did. All right, April, tell us about your award and give us your shout out. Good to see you, by the way.
Thank you, Terry. I have to give Terry a shout out. When a few years ago, when we first had this idea for this task force, it was like 5 of us in the room. And look at all these faces and boxes. It's very, very cool. So good job, Terry. And like Tanisha, I joined NABJ when I was 19. I was a young student at Howard and was mesmerized by what I saw at that convention. But I told one of I was studying journalism, but I knew then, I was like, I don't think I want to be a journalist, but I want to be like close to journalists. And I worked my way through to being in PR, and my professor told me to stay involved. There's an associate, back then it was called an associate membership, told me to stay involved, and I'm glad that I did. I haven't talked with many of you in a while, so Terry is right, lots of jobs, but we're all trying to make it. My current role right now is I'm Vice President of Communication with the organization called Higher Heights for America, and we work to get more Black women into political office. You ever heard of a group called Emily's List? We are the Black woman version of Emily's List. And I can just say, it's dynamic work. My motto is PR with a purpose. So I've always flocked toward mission-driven organizations, and to think about that we're at a moment that we've never had a Black woman president, no Black women governors. We currently have 0 Black women senators and nobody on the Supreme Court. By the end of 2022, all those things might change. And just amazing work that I get to do. So I'm happy about that, and love to talk with you more about it on offline conversations. But just wanted to thank everyone. Pat Tobin was near and dear to my heart. She's one of those people that when I first got into NABJ, took me under her wing. And it is a true honor to be the recipient of the Pat Tobin Award. And just try to walk in her light every day. And those are big shoes to fill, and she was a big light. Just want to thank everybody, and good to see y'all.
Good to see you too. Also, now we didn't say the best for last, we just saved another best person up here. But I'd like to talk about this person. And, I tell you all the time that Marie Roberts is my 3 a.m. phone call. This person is my 3:30 a.m. phone call. And he's an entrepreneur, media executive, educator, author. His experience in journalism, public relations, marketing, branding, publishing, I could go down the list. He's a walking example of why we have to wear so many hats. And we have to convince people that all our hats are fully deserved and we are fully versed in the success of each hat. Neil Foote is a diversity executive, and he's the founder of and COO of Tom Joyner Foundation, and also Black America Web. And I love your book, Principle of News, Race, Gender, Class, and Media. I love that one. And I just saw your recent article on diversity. and how we don't have to do another white paper because we didn't accomplish what we should have accomplished in 2015. And so thank you for being my 3:30 a.m. call. Neil, congratulations on being entered into the Hall of Fame. Your turn.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Checks in the mail. No, humble and honored. You know, this is of so many others. This award is the result of many, right? I started in ABJ in 1981, and as a kid in Miami, moving from with many of us from Northeast down to Miami to work for a great newspaper and cut our teeth in journalism at one of the best newspapers around. What has driven me over the years is certainly a faith, a drive, and a belief that being a journalist is a great thing, and that telling people stories at all levels is a great thing. From those stories from good old Opelika and Liberty City, for those in South Florida who know what I'm talking about, to right on up through covering those issues about business and real estate and other issues at the Washington Post in DC, and Loudoun County, and everything else, all kind of shaped my career here at NABJ. I had the opportunity to help select the first executive director of NABJ, who lasted 3 months. By the way, we had our first board meeting and we took a lunch break and he disappeared and never returned. We've come a long, long way. And for Chuck Stone, who was one of my mentors, who had graduated from my undergraduate school, as one of the few Black people who had graduated from Wesleyan University in Connecticut. I reached out to him as a college senior and said, "Hey, Chuck, I'm interested in journalism." He said, "Next time you come to Philly, stop by." I said, "Well, I'll be there this weekend." I had no plans. He spent about 2 hours with me writing down names, including those at the Miami Herald, and that led the path. That means that mentors have always guided me, and I've sought out, when you hear people say you need those personal board of advisors, that is true. We all need them at any point in our lives to give us that tough love, that inspiration, and the guidance that we need to kind of carry forth. In my role in leadership with NABJ, serving on the board, serving later on as chair of the National Association of Minority Media Executives, which NAMI, that was founded by the great Carl Morris. We were trying to diversify executives in the industry, to now working with so many great folks, the National Black Public Relations Society, and Winona Redmond and Rochelle Payne, and the past leaders here, and Deborah Hyman, who still trying to carry the flame that Pat Tobin lit so many years ago when she laid out for us the importance of making sure our voice was heard. Lastly, I'll say, there's that song in Hamilton about being in the room, and I think it's more wherever we can get in the room, we need to be in the room. And that's really what I see my role in at this point in my career, is I need to be in the room to make sure that folks are not getting caught up in their own bubble. And if you check out LinkedIn, that's where the interview, and thanks to Muckrake for me to chance to share those thoughts about this circle we're in. We're in this circle. All of us in this Zoom room today know how diversity can be impacted in this industry. It's very simple. This is not brain surgery. I'd like to invite the top 20 CEOs of all the PR firms to say they can't find any, to say, who the heck are the people in this room? They're not Zoom bombing. Talented, experienced, professional individuals who can turn this industry inside out. So know that that's a voice that I'm going to keep on banging, and I'm going to be that one in the room. How many of you are that one in the room, right? I no longer am feeling bad about being that person in the room. So I preface that saying I'm the person in the room who's going to remind folks that this issue can't be taken lightly, and it can't just be passed over by another survey and another white paper to tell us what we already know. So I look forward to our continued work together. All praise to you, Terry, for keeping the light burning, keeping the faith going. We're here for you, and thank you for your energy, for keeping things going. And I look forward to kind of seeing you all, hopefully in person, in the real near future. Thank you, Terry.
Thank you so much. All right, we're going to go to our presenters, but in the meantime, I just want to let you know, based on the fact that I have a very blessed relationship with one of our presenters. She has changed my life so many times that I went to have Soul Reborn tattooed on my arm, because she knows how to do that soul walk and make sure that we're walking from spirit and that we are using discernment and not judgment. So based on that, our guest has 4 or 5 books, and all of you award winners here are getting from me. You're getting that media-related T-shirt that you love. This time, it's not going to say the one that Tony's wearing. Tony, you've got your shirt on. You can show them to him. Our new T-shirt says, "If it's media, it's related," and those are our new T-shirts that we have right there. You get one of those, guys. You also get a copy of Cheryl Magazine, and you also get your choice of any one of Cheryl's books that I have for you. And my favorite is The Art of Influence, but the one I read every day is Soulful Prayers. I think that's right here. Yeah, there's behind me. And the one that got me chasing Cheryl down was Soul Reborn. And so you all get your choice of those books, as well as one of our women-owned businesses here in Dallas, Chocolate Secrets. You will also be getting a chocolate mix from that, since this is February, Black History Month. And real quickly, I hope that you can see what I put in the chat, honoring Neil, April, and Tanisha, but everybody's being honored in this process. And we're doing a Black history person every day, because as James Baldwin said, our history is today. It's not the past. It's not the past or the future. It's the present. We are our history as we walk. And each one of you have been honored so far, and we continue to do that until the end of the month. So I still need you to like, share, and talk about that, because we're still honoring those people. So thank you, Neil. Thank you, Tanisha. Thank you, April. Because of you guys, we're able to persevere and move forward. We're able to see that this is not the dark side. This is the profitable side. This is the engaging side. This is the game changer side. And I also can't be remiss without recognizing Ron Carter, my ride or die, who also received the Pat Tobin Award in previous years as well. So thank you for being here. Let me talk to you about our next speaker. And it's personal for me, because before we start, I want to start with our prayer, praying over our speakers and over us in this meeting. It's a very short prayer, but I do believe that it is our worth is exemplified as we walk with God, as we understand our walk with God. So I'm going to pray. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for creating us in great worth. Forgive those that don't believe that we are useless, that believe that we are useless or worthless. We rebuke those thoughts in your name, Jesus. Please help us move forward and step with your spirit. Those that say we are not worthy, those that say we cause bad things to happen, we're going to pray for them too. So help us shake off all feelings of unworthiness and celebrate all these worthy people on this call and the worthy people that they touch, in exchange for the confidence that we've been given by you, Father, that we live and move and breathe in your success. In your name we pray, amen. Thank you. I just wanted to introduce the first speaker. Imagine, how would I introduce Cheryl? Imagine breaking through the barricade of self-doubt and stepping into the life that was divinely designated for you. That's what Cheryl has done for me and the work she's done across the country. I love the iconic work that you did called 20 Pearls, which highlights the Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority, but it also highlights women. It also highlights the African-American achievement, and also gives a window to the Divine Nine. I know that I have always been moved by your presence and the work that you do. And just to sit around and tell people that you are a filmmaker, you're an award-winning filmmaker, you're a philanthropist, boy, I could go on and on and on and still not touch on the things that you do. But we're glad that you're here. We know that you're a transformational leader, and you're also a career coach. And I love the philanthropy that you've asked me to be involved with, and thank you for being partners with us at City Ben Cook. So please welcome Cheryl Polote Williamson. Everyone, put your applause in the chat, and let's see your applause on the screen.
Thank you.
Welcome, lady. How you like hanging out with us on Sunday?
I am extremely excited to be here. I'm always excited when I am with game changers and history makers and people who are committed to excellence. And that's what I captured just in these moments that we've been here. So I feel blessed. I feel just so excited to even be in the presence of you this evening, and I'm grateful, and I stay in a place of gratitude. So I'm grateful to be here with you all tonight.
All right, thank you so much, Cheryl. Cheryl and I run into each other doing so much in the community that sometimes we have to stand in those red carpet lines or stand in the hallway and prop each other up, because we're like, all right, what are we doing today and what part do we do? And so, Cheryl, I was amazed when we just finished with Botham John, the police, the guy that was killed by the police officer. We did the name changing in the street. We had the banquet, but I sat in my chair, and there, where we were sitting there, was Cheryl Magazine. And so, tell us about your publication. Why did you develop this publication?
Cheryl Magazine actually went from a 11-page newsletter that I sent out to my mailing list, and people started responding to the newsletter. And I just want to say that for 5 years on my vision board, I had Cheryl Magazine on the vision board for 5 years. I didn't know how it was going to happen, when it was going to happen. And I'll be candid, I wasn't worried about whether I had the experience to make it happen, because this I know, the power of my mind manifests everybody around me with all the experience. Just like with the film, I have no film experience. I got into making film because I was willing, as a CEO of my own company, to go serve coffee for somebody who was a filmmaker. So for the magazine, people were excited about it. And I partnered with my college friend, and we decided we were going to make it a magazine. And I started reaching out to people. She had the experience. I knew the people, and I had the resources. And so we just decided, okay, we're going to do this. But I'll tell you what the purpose, it's not just any magazine. I hope you all will laugh when I say this, but as an entrepreneur, you know, you're always looking for opportunities. So I would call people and I say, hey, I have a story. They said, we're not interested. We're not interested. And one day the Lord said, girl, go ahead and make your own magazine, and you can be in it as much as you want to, and put other people in there who are in the same position as you, who the world deemed them unworthy. You're not Beyonce, you're not Oprah. So I said, you know what? I'm going to create a magazine that's inspiration for the everyday woman that's doing phenomenal things. And that's what it is. Cheryl Magazine is inspiration for the everyday woman that's doing phenomenal things. And I felt like the world needed to know who they were. And as a result of that, now people are calling me, because I was very specific. The magazine, people were saying, oh, nobody's buying print anymore. Everybody is online. Well, I'm 55. I like print. I like beauty. I want to see it, feel it, touch it. And I cater to that audience. I'm not for everybody. And I'm good with that. And so people started being interested in the magazine, and the stories are phenomenal. Phenomenal stories.
Oh, they are. They're heartwarming. I got a chance to take 20 of your magazines and put them in the hands of young Black women at the charter school. And now they want to be you. So that's the inspiration I get. Let me ask you something. You had challenges, though, getting this magazine up and running. And I want to know what were those challenges are, because everybody on this call, we are entrepreneurs. And as Jewel Diamond Taylor, our friend Jewel, would say, we're entrepreneurs. But so Jewel says that, and she says that we all will have a challenge, we all have a cross to bear, but we will always get to where we got to go regardless, because from a physically spiritual perspective, we are enough. So what were your challenges and when you encountered getting this magazine up and running?
Well, first thing is, when people found out about the magazine, everybody wanted to be in the magazine, but nobody wanted to invest in the magazine. And so I just started calling people out. I said, why would you want to be in a magazine that you don't even deem worthy of buying a subscription? So I just started calling people out. The other thing, they felt like, oh, the ad should just be $50. I said, you are not my audience. I'm not paying, accepting $50 for you to be in a magazine that cost me XYZ to produce. And everybody wants to be on the cover, especially after the first one came out, because we went big. We had a double feature, the very first magazine, which was unheard of, but I did it because that's just me. I believe in doing it big or going home. So once we did that double issue, people got interested. But again, it's like, oh, I want to be in it, but I don't want to pay you. So I had to get over that hump. The other thing was, I had to pull back because it got big, like right at the first issue. Believe it or not, CMG, we got in contact with them and they said yes to distribution. And I wasn't ready for distribution. So I backed off. And that's what I teach people about. Don't scale too quick. You're not ready. Even if they're telling you do this or that. If you're not ready, don't do it. So we didn't do that. Just getting people to believe in it. You know how when you start something, it's like, oh, it's not going to work. But I will tell you, the thing for me is I have enough belief in myself that I don't need the world to tell me that, oh, this is a great idea, or you're doing a good job. I tell myself that every day. This is a great idea and you're doing a good job. I'm a big risk taker. So I'm willing to go with 50% of the information and trust that the other 50 will come. So I'm not one that, people always tell you it's never going to work. So when you say, what was some of the things I went through? Oh, it's never going to work. Nobody's going to buy the magazine. Nobody is interested. And I didn't pay attention to those people. And now those are some of the same people who are calling me, asking me, how did you do it? And I charge them to give them that information. I don't give any information for free, period, because I put that money back into my magazine. Well, can you tell me how you got, because I have Kim Fields on the magazine. They were like, how'd you get Kim Fields? How'd you get the city manager? How did you get Terry Vaughn? How did you get, people didn't know that the Secretary of the Senate is a Black woman. She said yes to me. So when people started saying, how did this woman, who they assume knew nobody, get all these people to say yes? And so getting people to say yes, sometimes that's a problem. But once I got the first couple of people to say yes, then everybody else was saying, how can I get aboard? And Terry, I have to tell you, Pam from Chocolate Secret, she's in the spring issue.
Oh, that's great. That's great. She's got the best place in the world, you guys. I just picked up a giveaway for from her. This is a chocolate Gucci, a Louis Vuitton Gucci and Coach chocolate bag she's made for me. So she did it.
Oh yes, she has it all. She has it all.
I was wanting to say,
I guess you all can tell I'm passionate. What'd you say, Terry? I was saying, I guess you all can tell I'm passionate. So when people ask me, I'm like, I'm all in.
Yeah, we love it. Next question. Well, Karan has a question for you, and I'll have another one for you. Go ahead.
Hi, Cheryl.
Hey, beautiful. How are you?
I am so well. I didn't realize who you were until I saw your email address. I was there when you got an award in Baltimore.
Yes.
I met you. You had on this fabulous pink dress. It was lovely. And you were so surprised when you got this award. And I walked up to you and I told you how lovely you were. You were just stunning, but I didn't realize you were going to be here. So it's not really a question, it's a comment. So congratulations on all your success. It was pre-COVID. I'm like super geeked over here. I'm geeking out. I'm like, that's her. What the dress, the pink dress, that's her.
Oh.
It was fabulous, fabulous. And I love your humility, because every time someone pays you a compliment, you clutch your heart. And that is so sincere. I just want you to know you are still lovely and stunning. And I'm so glad you are here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am you just don't know. I'm just sincerely honored to be with you all. Because like I listen to you all speak, I'm not in the natural. I'm not a writer. I've written books, but when I think about you all's career, that's why I'm like, I'm in such great company. And I just feel so blessed every time God allows me to be in the company of great people and that I can learn from, and we can learn from each other and elevate one another. And I have to say this, although Terry didn't ask me this, the other reason I started Cheryl Magazine is because I needed another vehicle and vessel to have an income to give more. And so from the income from Cheryl Magazine, I have been giving grants away to women for the past 2 years. It started during the pandemic and it was supposed to only be September. I said, Lord, what do you want me to do for my 54th birthday? He said, help other women. So I gave 6 grants away, but I had 280 women apply. And I just said, well, what do I do? And he said, every 14th of the month, I want you to give a grant to a woman-owned business. So for the past 2 years, I've been given this grant. Well, it's 2 years now. And every year that I get older, the grant amount goes up. So this stack right here is actually the people who applied for 2022. And I awarded January and February already. So I just wanted to just toss out that Cheryl Magazine is bigger than, oh, this is a cute magazine. It's a philanthropic arm that I use to help other women. And that's important to me because at the end of the day, my legacy is one for giving. I want the world to know that I was here and I want to die empty. I want to have given everything that I was supposed to give in this life to make it better for somebody else. So I don't stop, I don't slow down. I do practice self-care. I do set boundaries. I do know that no is a complete sentence and I don't apologize for it at all. I let my yes be yes and my no is absolutely no, unapologetically.
Thank you, Cheryl. You have a question from Tanisha. Tanisha, go ahead.
No, I'm just over here, amen and hallelujah. And she's so good. My fiance in the other room said, baby, who is that speaking? We already about to have church.
It is.
So, no, I didn't have a question, but I'm putting comments in because we have in church over here, to whom much is given, much is required. You have already echoed that. So continue doing what you are doing. You are a blessing. And I see you touching lives and I feel it in my spirit. So
thank you. Thank you so much.
Cheryl, this is Neil. I know how hard it is to launch a magazine. My brother-in-law tried to do it back in the late 80s and have done it many other times. So blessings to you. Share some advice on overcoming those no's, right? You shed a little bit of light, particularly from the advertising community and the dollars. Talk about how, what continued to drive you and what helped kind of turn the corner for you.
What turned the corner for me in the advertising dollars, and I have to tell you, this is something that Mickey Taylor said to me. She said, Cheryl, I've never seen anybody go after somebody like you. And I'll tell you why she said that to me. We make the issues so engaging that the people who are in the issues, they don't just buy one copy. I've had people where they buy 100 copies for themselves and they're sending it out to their families. So where other people may only buy one magazine, these people, I will tell you, the first one, we had 2,000. That wasn't even subscriptions. That was the people who were in the magazine who found a way. They said, oh, I'm going to use this to advertise. I'm a financial planner. I'm going to give this to all my people to let them know that I wrote an article in your magazine. So that's how I overcame the ads. The other thing that I did is all the people who said, I believe in you and what you're doing, I called them to the carpet. I said, if you believe so much and you want me to win the way that you say that you do, put your money where your mouth is and place an ad in this. And their ads went so well that our back cover and inside cover are paid for the next year and a half.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Cheryl. I just one other thing, you know, I come to you because of the motivation you give us. And sometimes when I got through speaking one time, Cheryl came up to me. I remember this. Cheryl don't remember this. I do. She said, "Are you a preacher?" I said, "If you knew how much I hate preachers, you wouldn't ask that question." So the motivation that is shared amongst us is that the reason I wanted her to be the first call for the year is because I want us to know we are powerful beyond measure. And we have to believe that, people. We have to step up to the plate. When I know I can pick up a phone call and call April Turner, and she don't even have her 4 words to say, she'll say, "It'll be okay." So and I said, "Okay, I'll call you back when I get to the next level." And so, and then I'll get an email from Neil, and I can go down the list of everybody on the call. I get an email from Neil. I said, "I think you need to look into this," as I already have. And so that network is important, but it's our faith in ourselves that gets it there. But what you've established for me, and I've already wrote about it in my column, I'll put that in the chat. It says, my big mama said, "You must pour into those that pour into you."
Mm-hmm.
Simple phrase, simple process. And that's what we have to do on this call. And I appreciate that. Anyone have a question for Cheryl before we get to Melanie?
I do, Cheryl.
Yes.
This was a shift for you from a previous career and a previous life, momming and all of that.
Yes.
And you made it, what you are doing now was not something that you were doing in your 20s and 30s necessarily. You have built this in later years. So for those of us, which is a lot, which falls on a lot of us in this group who are in that season of the shift, talk a little bit about that, how you made the shift and how you ended up landing with what you're doing, all the various things that you're doing now.
I made a conscious decision that 50 was not fatal, that 50 was going to be fabulous. So
Again.
50 for me, I just wasn't going to let it be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm 50 years old, I can't do this." I've just never been that way. I'm a third generation entrepreneur, so my thinking is a little bit different. So what I decided after we closed down, and since you mentioned that, I'll say after we closed and sold our fitness clubs, but I realized that there was something that was calling me to sharing experiences. So I had gone through, my mother-in-law had passed away from cancer. My husband had been diagnosed with cancer. And then I got diagnosed with supraventricular tachycardia, which is heart disease. And so that time, I spent a lot of time talking to God, trying to figure out, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? How can I give? How can I help? How can I sow? And I started writing down what he would say to me on social media. When he would tell me, "You are brilliant, you are beautiful, you are, you can have everything, you receive preferential treatment." And I'm going to try to talk fast because I want my sister to have plenty of time for you all to get with her. So my mind started transitioning. And one day the Holy Spirit said, "You need to put this in a book." And I said, "I'm not a writer." I said that out loud. And the Holy Spirit said, "Yes, you are." So fast forward, he placed me in position to meet people who helped me write this first book. And as a result of writing the book, people started getting in contact with me. And then from the book came additional books. Then came, "Cheryl, I want you to do a play." And I said, "Well, what is it about?" And he said, "I renewed your soul, help other people." So I did the play Soul Purpose. That bug bit. And Terry was at the play. So I did Soul Purpose. I won Executive Producer of the Year. Then the Holy Spirit said, "Okay, it's time for you to do movies. It's time for you to do the film that you've been wanting to do." So fast forward, a friend who's a filmmaker, I told her what my desire was, and we were childhood friends. And she said, "Cheryl, you have everything that you need." She said, you go after your dreams. I'm willing to bet on you." So I did a film with Illegal Rose starring Jasmine Guy. I was supposed to serve coffee. I ended up, they said, you have a unique set of skills that we need. So I ended up raising the money in less than 4 days to complete the film. So from that, it just took off. And then I started bringing other women along. That is the game changer. I started bringing along women who said, this is what I'm interested in. I just feel forgotten. And because they saw me do it and was very vocal about the pitfalls and all of those things, I operate in full transparency. So if anybody asks, why do you think, what makes you different? It's because I'm willing to tell you the truth. I'm willing to tell you that it wasn't easy. I'm willing to tell you about, the night when it was very few ticket sales. I'm willing to tell you that when you get into agreements, it can't be without a contract. I'm that person that's going to just tell you the truth. I don't care how long you've known somebody, you better get a contract when you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars exchanging hands. Most people are not going to say that to you because they want you to think, oh, everything was great. Nothing got in the way. And so I just kept going. I wouldn't accept no. I wouldn't accept you can't do it. And that's what changed my life. The willingness for me to be vulnerable and admit in a room full of people that had years and years of experience more than me, that I didn't have the answers, but I had the willingness to get in there to do it. Nobody can outwork me. And I say that, and I've said it for years in big crowds of people. Some people get upset, but then some people come back and say, you are so right, because I've watched you. And that's it.
Thank you so much. Now, we're all here moving people forward, moving the needle forward. So you have a question from KL Newhouse, our end of the world, end of the country, babe down there in San Diego. Come on, KL, what question you have?
Well, first of all, hello, my beloved Cheryl. Just amazing as always. I want to just echo and reinforce that you exemplify courage and acts of faith. And in that vein, speak just briefly to how you have leveraged equal measures of success and unsuccess, as you always so openly and transparently speak of, to conquer the unfamiliar and remain on your purpose.
Dr. Newhouse. Hello?
Yes.
Something happened with I'm so sorry. Something happened with the audio. I apologize.
Oh, no, okay, no worries. If everyone will just indulge me, I'll repeat. I want to echo and emphasize that you exemplify courage and acts of faith. And I want you to speak briefly to how you leverage equal measures of your success, which has been phenomenal, your unsuccess, which you're extraordinarily transparent about, and how you have utilized those to conquer the unfamiliar and remain steadfast in your purpose.
I have been able to do that because of just what you just said. I'm very transparent about what I don't know. And because I do that, people admire that. And then they'll say, well, let me bring you to the table so that you can learn this or that or the other. From a faith perspective, I had faith, and I have faith when I didn't have the money for the projects. So that is the thing that has carried me through startup of companies. The Cheryl Magazine is the 4th company in 6 years. And I just keep going. I don't allow anything to stop me. I can't. I want to finish this race well. So I don't allow anything to stop me. And that would be my words to everybody on here, that your mindset is your superpower. Your mindset is your superpower. So whatever you tell yourself and it leaves your mouth, that is what will manifest in your life. So if you tell yourself that I'll never write for this magazine, I'll never do this film, I'll never raise this amount of money, I can tell you that that's exactly what will happen. Exactly what will happen. My email address, and I'm going to say this because I feel like there's somebody on here that needs to hear this. My email address 17 years ago, I made it Dr. C. Williamson 66. And everybody asked, are you a doctor? Are you a doctor? I said, not yet. 17 years ago, I did that. December 2nd, I became Dr. Cheryl Williamson. And I'm not saying that to impress you. I'm saying it to impress upon you. The power of your mind will absolutely change the course of your life. You can be broke today and be a millionaire tomorrow. You can be nobody calling you about stories until everybody calling you to do something, to be on a red carpet, to speak at an event. I've wanted to speak at Founders Day since I've been an AKA for 36 years. It took me 36 years to be the keynote at Founders Day. I'm sharing that with you to tell you never give up on you. Never give up on your dreams. Your purpose is needed. You have a gift and a seed to deliver to this world that only you can give. So I don't care how many journalists are out there, only you can deliver this thing that you can deliver. So I thank you for indulging me. Thank you for having me here tonight. I appreciate you so much. And I just pray the best on each and every person on here, as well as anybody who is connected to you. And I want you to expect the yes this week. Expect the yes in every single thing that you do. Just go ahead and write down yes, because it's there.
Yes, yes, I appreciate that. Thank you, Cheryl. You were here for a reason, and I think everyone is purposeful because God is a purposeful God. And for all the things that you and I've shared with you, that I've been going through here recently, and several people on the call also know, job loss, lawsuits, all these other things. And I just had to stop and remember that everyone has a purpose, and God is a purposeful God. All we got to do is turn our no into a yes. So thank you for joining us. I also want to make an announcement. I felt to make it early, Cheryl. Let me skip over you in a minute. But Miss Lenoir, you were the first person to register for this event. So you get a session with our good writer, Linda Jones. You get to write your Afro-bituary. And I'll also put the link in the chat because everybody gets a discount today if they go and write it. But it's a writing course. It's fully functional. It lets you write your standard obituary, but it's more of what Cheryl's talking about, where you find your grace and your gift in there. And sometimes we're distracted by our mistakes, omissions, and our challenges. So Cheryl, Miss Lenore, congratulations on winning, being the first one to register. And we're paying for your Afro-bituary class. And so we want you to share that Afro-bituary with us when it's over. How you feel?
Thank you so much.
All right, and I put the link in the chat so someone else can do that. Thank you, Cheryl. Let's go over here to Melanie. Now, Melanie and I connected because I had just done the diversity training for NABJ for Google, PolitiFact, Politico, Facebook. It was a whole list of online people. We got caught up in the whole diversity program. And it was an amazing session, but I also extended out. I still do the local thing here that several of you have participated in as facilitators. And that's called Together We Dine, the Conversations of Race. And I was going back and forth, and I got a ping from Melanie, and I pinged her back, and she said, I said, you and Francis should prove it. So you prove it. And then she had her workshop on diversity and equity and inclusion. And I said, you must have some of the major challenges in the world in France. And let me introduce her. Melanie is a diversity, equity, and inclusion consultant, a belonging consultant, which she'll explain that. And she has her BAs in French, Spanish from the University of West Indies. She's the island girl. and she has lived in Barbados, Martinique, my favorite place, Lyon, and now Paris. Now, I lived in Lyon. I didn't like it as much as I like Paris. As a result of that, she has launched Melanie Jacob Consulting. I see your journey on LinkedIn as well. And I also participated in one of her workshops, who's dealing with women of color and diversity in the country of France. So Melanie, welcome. And I got a question for you, but welcome. Tell us about yourself. Come on, talk to us.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Terry.
And we know it's already Monday for you, where you
Yes, it very much is. But I must say, I'm so happy that I'm on this call, and just listening to Dr. Cheryl speak, I just felt so inspired. I'm like, how am I supposed to follow this lady? Like, how this is like a tough spot for me to fill directly after her. Like, she was just spitting all that knowledge. So I'm so grateful. Like, I just feel pumped up for the week, honestly. Like, you gave me the energy that I needed at 1 a.m. for me to continue on this call. So thank you very much. I'm so happy I'm in contact with you. So thank you.
You're so welcome.
All right, Cheryl, as a D&I consultant, which is an inclusion strategy, and you're in France, French people are the most exclusion people in the world. They exclude other countries. They won't even allow words come in their language.
Yep.
They restrict their language, they restrict the culture. So as an inclusion specialist, what corporations are asking for your help, especially in France?
Yeah, so I usually work with multinational companies. So I've worked with Amazon, Veste Collective, some other Capgemini, HM Clause, and just some other companies like that I cannot really think of right now. But these are like the major ones. And the reason I should back up a bit, the reason I got into diversity and inclusion work is because growing up in St. Lucia, I experienced sexism. And then when I moved to Barbados, I was experiencing texturism and colorism. These are things that I had never thought about before. And then when I moved to Martinique, I was experiencing xenophobia because I'm from St. Lucia, so I'm very much not like them. And if you know anything about the French Caribbean, they don't like to associate with the Anglophone speaking Caribbean because they think that they're superior to us because they're French. And then I moved to Lyon in 2018, and all of a sudden I was experiencing racism. Now, being from the Caribbean, that's not something that I'd actually ever dealt with before. Obviously, we have texturism, we have hairism, we have colorism, but racism was never something that I thought about. In fact, in the Caribbean, when we talk about racism, we say that that's like an American thing. They haven't gotten over slavery yet after all of these years. And it's like, we're always like, oh, we have prime ministers who are Black, we have presidents who are Black, we have ministers who are Black. We don't know this thing about racism. So when I moved to France now, I was looking for a job in communications because I did my master's in communications, media, and PR. And all of a sudden, people were telling me, oh, like, you can't work in this field because you're not French, you don't understand our culture. And I would be like, but I speak Spanish, I speak English, I speak French. I've lived in so many different countries. I've traveled to so many different places. I really love media. Actually, when Dr. Cheryl spoke about Jasmine Guy, my heart just leaped out because I love a different world. So that's like a whole other thing. And I was trying to figure out what was the problem because I thought I was educated. I had my master's degree. I was actually thinking about doing my doctorate as well. And they were like, no, you cannot do this. And it's when I started to have friends who come from African nations and from the French Caribbean, they would tell me, but Melanie, you're Black. I was like, what? What are you talking about? They're like, no, but you're Black. What do you expect? This is France. You're not going to get a job working in com. And then I just had to continue working in education. So I was lecturing at a university and I'm teaching at a private school at the same time. And one day I was on a bus, it was in October 2019, and I came across this Forbes article talking about diversity and equity work. And I was like, what's this? And I started reading the article and I just said, people actually get paid for them to talk about discrimination and racism and sexism. So I reached out to the person in the article, who was Carol Cooper, and he works for Alive Intent in New York. And he told me about the job probably in December of 2019. And he was telling me, this is what it entails, this is what you have to do. So I started applying for different jobs in DEI in France to no avail. One of the first responses I got, the owner of the company told me, you don't know anything about discrimination, so you cannot be teaching or facilitating workshops. I said, I'm a Black woman. Of course I know about discrimination. And they didn't really like that response. So when COVID happened, I wasn't really sure what was going to happen in terms of me lecturing at the university. So I decided to start my own DI consultancy. And this is how I'm here today. Yeah.
Well, also, I'm not really good. You also do a fantastic job, and I hope you can put that in the link, but I'll share with everybody for the sake of time. But you did a fantastic job breaking down for some of your French clients the difference between race and ethnicity. And I think that the lack of education there may have gotten Whoopi Goldberg in trouble. We won't talk about that. But the difference between race and ethnicity, has your clients in France opened up to you? Are you being able to grow your firm? And is DEI as important as it is here? Because we're at a point where we're creating jobs and roles. And I don't get too excited because we did that for affirmative action. I can't find any vice president of affirmative action anymore. But now they're DE&I. So has that helped you? Or do you see any impact that the focus on DE&I? Because I know that George Floyd was a global impact. It was not just a USA impact.
Well, it's funny that you say that because in France, in Europe in general, as you knew when you attended the event, people didn't really talk about George Floyd. It wasn't as big of a thing as it was in the US or even in the Caribbean or in Canada. People are just like, oh, that's an American thing. That doesn't happen here in France. We're not, like, racism is illegal here, so it doesn't happen. So the companies that I work with, they usually linked with American companies. So it's usually the Americans saying, oh, well, we just hired a DEI lead or manager, and all of a sudden, like we would like to have like the same thing going on in our French branches. And the French people would be like, well, we're not really like a racist country, so we're not really open to having somebody working in DEI. And then the American company would be like, no, you have to do something. So then usually that's where I usually come in, because since I speak French and English, I can work with them on these things. But a lot of the time, a lot of people don't realize that racism exists in France. And sometimes they even talk about being on the receiving end of reverse racism, which I have to explain to them doesn't actually exist. But when it comes to DEI, we usually focus on LGBTQ rights, sexism, as well as sometimes disabilities, but nobody really talks about race. So that's why I really found my foot in having these discussions. And it's very difficult at times because obviously there is some pushback, but I really think that it's an important conversation that we're supposed to be having, especially when you look at French media. It is very white. It's something that really shocked me when I moved there, especially having lived in Martinique, where there were so many people of different colors all around the place, like in the media. And all of a sudden in France, you just see white faces on TV, when you're at the bus stop, when you're at the train station. It's something that has really been shocking to me as somebody who grew up in the Caribbean with Black people everywhere.
Thank you so much for sharing. My last question for you is, what are the differences you notice between being a consultant in France and being a consultant in the US in terms of PR and the diversity?
Well, first of all, if I'm going to be very honest, it's going to be, the first thing is getting paid, because if you're working in DI in Europe, just know that your job isn't going to be as stable as what I see a lot of my American colleagues making. So it's really a job that you have to do out of passion. You're not doing it for you to make money. It's really about like, this is what I want to do with my life. And because of that, it makes it very difficult to get things like housing and deal with French administration. If anybody knows anything about France, there's a whole bunch of red tape, especially if you're a foreigner. So that has been very complicated for me. The second thing is, I feel like American companies are very much more open to talking about DEI in all of its forms. So people will talk about race, ethnicity, religion, feminism, intersectional feminism, anti-racism, compared to in France, where you can get pushback from the company sometimes because they would want to see your presentation beforehand to make sure that there's nothing out there Thankfully, I have never had any company tell me to remove certain things from my presentation because I think I'd be very pissed off. But when it comes to discussions about these things, they're like, oh, but why should we be talking about racism? And I would tell them, when I enter the company, there's no Black people. Like last December, there was this huge international company. I had to do a speaking engagement for them. And when I entered, there was no Black people, not even a security guard. And if you've been to France, you know, like especially in Paris, the security guards are usually Black from one of the African countries. And I just saw nobody, not even the receptionist, everybody was white. And I'm like, this is exactly why we're supposed to be having these discussions, because this is ridiculous. This is Paris. This is one of the most mixed cities in the world, yet still you're not seeing anybody of color. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Melanie Jacob, without the S. I got it. And so I wanted to say, is there anything that you need from us? And thank you for joining our family. And thank you for all the work we've done together in the build up to get you here. And I appreciate it. You're up at Monday night at 2 in the morning. Monday morning to 2 a.m. Is there anything you need from us, and how can we be of service to you?
Well, it's just if anybody knows any French companies or European countries that are looking for a DEI professional, I'm here. And it's just reaching out to everybody, like on LinkedIn, because I just really like to connect with people working in the media, because as I said, I have a master's in communications, media and PR. And honestly, like, I'm just really thankful to be here because I just love listening to everybody's stories. And just the way that Americans express themselves is just so different from what happens in France. Like this, like, you know how it is in Europe. We're very like, I don't want to use that word, but everybody's very subdued when they're expressing themselves compared to like in the US, where everybody's just happy to be themselves, to just be happy. Like we're more like in the Caribbean, where we're just a little bit more open and colorful. Like it's just a pleasure being here and hearing people talk about their spirituality as well, because that would never happen in France.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you. Thank you so much for being here and being a part of us.
Thank you so much for having
me. Your t-shirt and candy's gonna take a little longer to get there, but we got it.
I was actually wondering if I was going to get one, and I had meant to ask you about that. Well, let me get it. Thank you so much. I'll send you my address.
There you go. I've got some international skills. You know, I was my former employer. I get international.
Exactly. Right.
And I was also in Lions. That's where we were. Lions. Yeah. Right. Cheryl, thank you. And your t-shirt and candy's on its way too. And we can't wait to support that. And so as we go on, we're going to close our call today. I want to thank our award winners. I want to thank them. But I'd like Don to give us some closing remarks about health. But before that, we want to get some announcements. Ken Carter, I think you have an announcement for our local people. If you're still
there.
We
have. Yes, we're here. I'm here. I'm sorry. Yes, we're going to start up the Dallas Fort Worth chapter of the National Association, National Black Public Relations Society. I knew Pat and what she wanted to do, and I'm happy to host a Get Acquainted session next Thursday for those in Dallas or who will be in Dallas to come by our offices from 4 to 6, and let's just get acquainted. So that's what's going on next week, so we can kick off and know each other real well.
Thank you, Ken. Ken has accepted the role as the chairman of the board of directors for the new NBPR chapter in Dallas, and we're going to have a nice little happy hour. And our focus is to bridge the gap between PRSA and us, because they're bringing a conference here, and we want to make sure that we're going to control that conference, especially since it's going to be on diversity and PR. Also, Karen, you have an announcement, don't you, Ms. Wilson? HBCU time?
Yes, on the 26th of February, we'll be having our HBCU.
I like that outfit, Karen.
Leave me alone, Terry. I got my mama up here with me. So you remember Terry who came to our 2019. My mama's nodding her head.
She remembers.
Yeah, she just waved and said, tell him hi. So you have been a blessing this whole evening to my mom as well as to myself. very, very grateful that we've restarted and that we remain connected. And so the 26th of February, we have our HBCU training day. It's going to be virtual. It's an opportunity for us to have several, I think we have 9 companies that are going to be offering jobs, meaningful jobs to students. And we also have a panel called Destination End Zone. And Terry is going to be moderating that. Thank you very much, Terry. Anita is going to be a part of that as well. And basically, it's just an opportunity to make sure that our students know you don't wait until the 4th quarter to get in the game. You've got to get into the game the 1st quarter, your 1st semester, and you need to come and start working hard to be able to achieve the career goals that you hope to achieve. And so we'll be doing that. Ron and Pam were also very big parts of us putting that together. So thank you to everybody. And we'll circle back and let you know how it goes, because from this, we're looking to be able to also do another one in a few months. I'm looking to have more media related panels and also a bigger foothold for all of us with I always say that it's time for us to move from the kids table to the grown folks table during the national convention. So there's definitely more to come. So thanks, Terry, for letting me share.
You and Don.
Yes, thanks, Terry. Hey, everyone. It's definitely been a pleasure to be here this evening. As you see from my background here, Reclaim Your Rhythm. I'm proud to share that I'm an advocate for and a spokesperson for the American Heart Association in Pennsylvania. And just briefly, I'll mention that I'm a heart survivor, or as I like to say, as they call me, a heart champion. And Cheryl, I heard you share briefly earlier. And just briefly, I say briefly because I remind myself that, I know we're short on time, but I didn't know I had heart disease until I turned 50, that magic number. So when I turned 50, I just wanted to get everything checked out. And I just so happened to start with the heart. So I want to encourage everyone to please get checked out. Go to your primary physician. And if you feel some pain that's not normal, and I encourage everyone to know your body, because I went to be preventative. So I encourage you to prevent any kind of illness, any kind of sickness, disease. And again, I wasn't looking for anything. And it just so happened I was in Florida for NABJ. When I found this out, I actually had a pain. So I went to get preventive measures and I was told it was nothing going on. And then 3 months after, I actually felt something while at NABJ. So I mentioned all that to say, everyone, whatever your pain is, it's in your leg, your chest, anywhere, just get it checked out just to make sure. And even if you don't have any pain, if you have a family history, I didn't know I had a family history of it. I now know, and now my whole family knows. So if you have a family history of it, definitely get checked out sooner than later. If you're that person that shares, please share your family history that something is going on, especially now with COVID. People are dying from pre-existing conditions. A lot of these pre-existing conditions are heart disease, diabetes, etc. And one thing I want to share, a quote that I heard from a cardiologist recently. If we could get the attention on heart disease that we now have on COVID-19, particularly since the consequences of heart disease are greater, actually greater. Imagine what we can do in terms of recalibrating lifestyles and making wiser choices. So that's like a wow thing there. So everyone, I encourage you to start moving. If you're not moving, I didn't know I had this until I started moving. I was moving. I'm a long time athlete. So I was truly surprised. So please move, please keep moving, eat healthier, drink your water, your veggies. So on a positive note, 80% of heart disease is preventable. So this is something that we can definitely eradicate. You don't have to have it just because you're people say you're predisposed or predisposition of it. It doesn't have to be that way. You can change that. So everyone, please get healthier. And particularly with us journalists and media professionals, we are in very stressful positions. A number of my friends have died within the last 2 years. I know Terry knows some of them. Earl Harvey died of a heart attack. Brian Monroe died of a heart attack. Is a silent killer. Again, I had no idea. The doctors was like, I should say I had 99% heart blockage in my left anterior artery. Meanwhile, one cardiologist said I had no problem. The cardiologist that found it, it took a time to find it because I am so active. So please get active, everyone. I want to see everyone here a year from now. I want to see everybody here so we can celebrate, go to Vegas and all that good stuff.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Don.
Terry. Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you. Our last, before I close, our last comment will be from Ron Carter, another Pat Toby Media Professional Award winner and a great PR man. Ron Carter. Are you there, Ron?
Yeah, hi. Hey, Terry. Good
nice
evening.
Background.
Huh?
Nice background.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, this was such a wonderful happy hour today. Was really moved by several of the things that that Cheryl said. You know, so much nuggets and a lot of the things she spoke about. You know, changing careers and believing in oneself and not really giving up on oneself. I think all those things are really important, especially for people who work in our field. And Don just said something, and Terry, you know about this, but I guess the rest of the group don't know this, but Don just said something that really moved me that I think I'm going to share today with the group. And that is in August of 2021, I had a colonoscopy, and the surgeon discovered that I had this really huge mass that was attached to my colon. And he told me that, you know, it wasn't cancerous, but he would advise me to take it out. And I said, okay, I will do that. Now, the reason why I'm saying this is because, Don, like you, every time I went to the doctor, I got a clean slate of health. Nothing was wrong with me. My cholesterol was low. My heart was fine. The doctors was always amazed at my health report because I'm a vegan. I've been a vegan for over 28 years. And so I thought I was eating right. I don't drink, I don't smoke, you know, and I thought that everything was right. In the meanwhile, inside of me, I was dying. The doctor basically told me if I had waited 2 more years, they would have been writing me my obituary. He would basically say to me, hey, we can't do nothing for you. This thing is too big. All was going to happen is that we would have to give you radiation and that might help you out a little bit. And so, Don, what you said was so powerful because since that time, I can really, since I've been sharing it with every male group or anyone who would listen, is that if you're over 40 years old and you haven't had a colonoscopy, please go get one. Because since I got out of the hospital on August the 21st, I have had at least 10 different people who have literally said to me, Ron, thank you for what you said to me because I got a colonoscopy and, you know, I got some stuff cut out of me. No one has had any surgery, but everyone is basically, these 8 individuals has actually gone and got tested. They had no idea they had no sense of the urgency of being tested because everybody lies to you and tell you wait until you're 50 And that's not true, because we know it's not true, because Chadwick Boseman died from this disease and he was only 43 years old. And he had been dealing with this stuff in silence for 3 years. So if you haven't had a colonoscopy, please go get one. I'm talking to both men and women, because I didn't know that I had this big mass inside of my body until I went and got tested. And they said, the doctor said, you get this stuff from how you eat and you drink and all that. And I feel like I have a pretty good diet, you know, and yet and still I was sick. Because if we don't have our health, we won't be able to practice this work that we do, you know. And Cheryl said something so important, you know, is that we're here to help people. That's what PR people do for the most part. We help people, you know, and some of us get really rich, and some of us just enjoy the work that we do, you know. And we would do this work for free if we could afford to do it for free, because we love what we do. I don't know anybody outside PR people who don't love what they do. And if you don't love what you're doing, you're a PR person, you don't need to be practicing PR. Or you are the person who clients come and say, oh, I had a PR person and he was lousy, and I don't want no more PR. I don't want to pay for that because the last person I had was lousy. Well, yeah, you know. So Terry, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I wanted to just share that. You can say that I'm working on some really exciting programs right now. I have a documentary that I executive produce that I'm shopping right now. Hopefully, you know, it'll end up on somebody's big screen really soon, you know, and I'm really excited about that. You know, I'm excited that I'm working with the Los Angeles Urban League, and I'm the PR counsel for the Los Angeles Urban League. And, you know, we're putting a new face on the organization. And, you know, they do so much here in Los Angeles. Here in Los Angeles, they're celebrating the 100-year anniversary. And we're doing a lot of things. Over the last several years, the organization had kind of fallen back a little bit on the different leadership. The new leadership, which brought me in to help with the branding and the face of the organization, is doing a great job. When we took over, we were seven figures in debt, and now we're 8 figures in the red. So
wow, amazing. That's amazing, sir.
Yeah, and that's in less than 3 years. So, you know, we're working really hard. I'm excited with the work I'm doing with them because, again, we're helping people. We're helping young people get into Hollywood. We're helping young people find jobs. We're helping young people start businesses. And, you know, we're also in the whole civil rights front too, because first and foremost, the National Urban League is a civil rights organization. And so we're pretty excited about the work we're doing there.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate it.
Projects I'm working on, you know, that are pretty exciting too. And, you know, I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be practicing practicing in this profession. I'm blessed to have friends like Terry and several other individuals on this call. My good friend Tanya Hope. And so many of you. And I think that this network that we have is a really strong one. And I think we should try to use it a lot more. You know, I don't think we use it as much as we should. I think we should use it much more. I think I should be able to pick up the phone and call each and every one of you in any city, you know, for assistance. And you can feel the same about calling me here in Los Angeles, you know, because I know a lot of people, and, you know, if I can help you, you know, that's the business I'm in. I'm in the helping business. And so, you know, again, Terry, thanks for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you, Ron. And I'm going to go back with the old social media thing online and say to you, can we talk? So let's get some deals on the table. All right. We're going to be closing right now. KL, you got 30 seconds.
Thank you, Terry. Just a quick question, because I may have come in or joined after this was mentioned, but you've been so absolutely thorough about talking about proposals for conference, for convention. And I just didn't know if we were going to talk about our proposals in the next call or what the plan was.
Glad you asked. And I appreciate what is happening tonight. And I have to shout this out to our guest today, to Cheryl. She calls this. And because I asked Ron to talk about the meeting, and he talked about his health and his thing, and that was not on the list. So we want to give a shout out to Cheryl Williamson for making us share and be empowered. We're going to be having a meeting to meet the media related board rep on Tuesday night. Everyone needs to be there. It's a meeting where we can clear up some air and get our support. And Tony's going to do a brief synopsis on the proposal presentations, and I'm going to talk about some of the sponsors we have because Don and I are working on a run. So we have a lot to talk about. We expect you guys to be on that call and bring some hardcore questions and some hardcore statements together, because we are one of the most powerful groups in that organization, and we need to have at least that much homage to what we do and support for what we had to get done. So look forward to that in the long run. So I want to thank everybody. We're way past our time. We're 14 minutes past our time. This is our first call since last year, so it was very important. We had invited the president and the board rep there, and they had registered, but they may have had some other agendas at this time. So what I want to do is close with a graceful thank you, not just to Cheryl and Melanie, but to every one of you who stood in the gap and did something. It is our connectivity that makes us stronger, and none of us refuses a phone call, email, or text from each other. And that's what makes us move those needles. And we've got to stand in that gap at all times. And we've got to make it happen. Panels need to be presented. We need to reach out to Cheryl about her magazine. We need to reach out to Melanie and make sure she's had all the DE&I support she needs over there in France. And I'll be more than happy to come up and help you, Melanie. And so I think me and Don could use a trip to Paris. So we're here. So thank you. Best wishes for all of you. And let me close with this one statement that I wrote in my book. And it was a pretty good book, but bestseller, by the way. And it says, when you have something to do, you will not move forward until you do it. So we have a lot to do, and we need to move forward. So let's please, please, please move forward. Everybody, save the chat. It's got your information in there. And I need your email addresses to mail out all these things to you. Your addresses, actually, physical addresses. Thank you for being here at the Media Collaborative. We are still posting those everyday heroes in Black history. I like Don's. That was all red, and she's wearing red tonight. So, and Ron's was a Phi Beta Sigma blue. I'm trying to be conscious of how I put these everyday heroes in there. But we have a few more days left in February. So if we have some more everyday heroes, make sure you send them to me. Make sure we like them every time, make a statement, and put them across all our places, our chapter websites, our region, our LinkedIn, our health organizations, everything. So everybody, stay safe. And I'll put my last article from my latest column. It says, my big mama is inspired me, and she used to tell me, know my place. That's what she wanted to keep us alive. But she once told me once before she died, know your place and then let God call out the lion in you. Thank you guys for being some lions tonight. There's that article. Make sure you read it. Make sure we stay in the gap. I need you to reach out to your Manila members for NABJ to make sure we're on this call Tuesday night. Make sure we have our voices heard. I need you to speak for me. I've already spoken for you for 8 years. I need you to speak for me. So thanks again. And I am now going to change this thing to gallery, and I need a wave because I'm going to let you turn your cameras on. We do a wave, and let's get a wave going. And
Hey, Terry.
Yes.
Please confirm the time again for Tuesday.
6 p.m. Central Time.
Okay. 7 p.m. East Coast.
And Terry, has the link been emailed to us already?
No, I've got to, that has to come from, I got to send the Zoom link to Veronique, and it's going to come from her.
Okay, great. Just wanted to be sure I didn't overlook it. So I'm certain to be there. Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
I'll send it to you anyway. So everybody turn their cameras on and put your wave up. Let's get this done and close this call out. And thank you for being here. All right, there's that wave. I see it. Let me put mine up one more time. I almost got it. I got it. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for being here. I'll give you a few minutes to save the chat before I close this out. And thank you for being the blessings that you are. Thank you, Cheryl. Melanie, we know that you started your Monday early in France, so hopefully you get a chance to go to sleep early this afternoon. Thank you to our icons of success, our influence, April Turner, Tanisha Taylor, Neil Foote, and thank you all for you media collaborators, because y'all make it happen and y'all make me want to wake up the next day. Every time I think about that, I say, it's not a good day to die. I got all these great people that I'm interacting with. So goodbye.
Bye. Thank you again for having me.
Oh, thank you, Melanie.
Hi, thank you as always, Terry.
All right, don't let me forget not to send your prize out, okay?
Oh, I won't let you forget.
Oh, I love that dog voice that's come out. I love it. Oh, I love it. Oh my God.
She's gonna be on me like sugar cane on candy. I know.
Oh, I love it. Thank you.
Good night, everybody.
Oh,
Good night.
Hey, Cheryl, we should have you sing us out. Goodbye, everybody.
I know. I thought about that.
Well, you know, you could always sing something. There's like 10 of us left. Go ahead.
I could sing something. All of me.
All right.
Why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take these lips. Oh, wait a minute. There's too many women on here. I got one.
Hey, you guys, y'all Google Cheryl Armstrong. She's the #1 R&B artist and a very great educator when it comes to marketing and PR. But she's the #1 R&B artist on Reverb Nation. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Beautiful
I don't know. It's so great. I don't want to leave. Oh my God. Thank you.
We love that, Laura. We love that.
I'm on Spotify. I'm on Amazon.com.
Oh my God.
Pandora.
I can't concentrate. I'm supposed to be doing my homework. I can't concentrate now.
No, go get my music and that'll help you.
Beautiful voice.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh my God. Okay. All right, let me get on my plane so I can get back to Philadelphia now. I'll talk
There you go,
to
Laura. All right, guys, let's start our emails and get our panel ideas together. And
I already emailed you already.
I saw that. And let's get our stuff together. Let's get our panels. And we have some sponsors. And one thing I want is a career fair for PR.
Right? I'm with you. You got me. I've been seeing you for a decade.
Well, you know, I'm your #1 fan, Laura.
And it's so weird because every time I see you, I take your picture and I didn't know who you were. I didn't know nothing about you. I just took your picture. You waved at me. I waved at you. I kept it rolling. So now I got to find all my 10-year pictures and send them to you now that I know.
Please do. I can have a snapshot. You got to love people like Laura. Best stalker in the world. Come on, Laura.
Love it. Thank you. Oh my God.
Bye, everybody. Goodbye.